Facebook. I'm Jeff Antin. I'm joined by Jamal Mitchell. This is Sticks and Picks, and today we're going to talk about, obviously we're going to start with current events, our favorite thing on sports, but we're going to talk about the gun debate. And I think it's so pertinent in today's world that I think we have to take a stand on it from the regular person's point of view. So let's get into a little fun. Let's have a little discussion on some of our current events in the sporting world. Jamal, will you take us with that?
Sure. First, I want to start off with a very comical side of things today. I want to start off with the national anthem of the NBA All-Star Game.
Hold on, I'm going to put it up behind us.
Yes, sir. Miss Fergalicious Fergie from the group Black Eyed Peas did her own rendition. It was like a bluesy, almost trying to mimic when Marvin Gaye did it in LA years ago. Folks, it didn't go over well. You could tell people in the audience were trying to hold back tears of laughter. Some people actually did laugh. But I really think she should have reconsidered the feeling. Whatever feeling came over her, it was wrong. Mr. Jeff, what is your take on that?
If you could look behind you for a second.
Yes.
I got Steph Curry's face, and they're all questioning, like, what's going on? What are you doing? Now, I'm going to be honest. If she's in a blues club, if she's in a hip-hop club,
that's some crazy.
It's like our national anthem is like this sacred thing that we're making a big deal out of now, more so, but it's just this time to reflect on how great our country is, the sacrifices people made, and she's kind of making it like it's a sexual, romantic song, and it's not. And I think the players' faces, we don't have any sound going, but you could see.
You could see when she was singing, if you look at, here she goes, she looks very sultry and sensual right now. But she's acting like she's really getting it.
He's holding back too.
Yeah, he's holding back. See, they're not showing. You gotta wait. Here it comes. Here it comes.
They're all wondering.
Look. Chance the Rapper doesn't hold back anything. He's gonna laugh at her.
Wait, here's some. Look, I don't know Draymond's reaction right here. Is he a mouth breather? Is he a mouth breather right now? Look, there it is. See, there they know. Okay, so I don't know. Give me your take then. We're done with this in terms of.
I mean, Fergie, this is from me to you. I know you're somewhat of a superstar. Stick to the script. Don't try to go beyond your means and do things that's not meant to do. Marvin Gaye, it was classic. Fergie, it was a bust. Stick to the script. That's all I have to say about Fergie.
All right.
Next topic in our current events this week. The FBI probe into the NCAA. Corruption identifies possible violations by basketball powers. Like you have Duke on the radar. You have North Carolina, Texas, Kentucky, Michigan State, of course, because they've been in the news. But one thing I want to bring up about the Michigan State program is that what prompted all this FBI probe was my man that got charged and was fondling all the young girls at Michigan State, and it opened up like Pandora's box.
Yeah.
You know, it just led from there. It's like a domino effect from there. And I mean, it's a lot of top coaches' jobs are online right now. Arizona's coach already got dismissed.
Wait, the question we got to ask with that is, it's all over Sports Center and all the media, is how will Sean Miller ever work again in the college world of basketball?
Well, FBI got him on a wired phone conversation. It's evident. There's no speculation. It's going to be, if he works again, it's only going to be as an analyst for college basketball. But other than that, I think his career is done.
Okay, so is it the pressure of college basketball to win that's causing people to do these things?
Well, Calipari, I believe he really exemplified and invented the one and done. Mm-hmm. So it's one and done. You're not going to have these kids for 2, 3, 4 years. You're going to have them maybe 2 years at the most.
Okay.
So in that, they're trying to win now. So they're going to do whatever it takes to do. But they've been doing that for years. They've been soliciting with money. Look what happened with the Fab Five. My team, my college, they've been doing this for years. It's just one person opens another door for another person. It always happens that way.
So here's the big question I'm going to ask you guys as well as Jamal is, should we pay college athletes? Because if you're going to do that, then you're going to bring in more money. Then you're going to give. I mean, they're not professionals. This is the problem we're going to have in the catch-22 with paying college athletes or continuing to find these problems in sporting world in college.
But if you do that and have it already legal or established that you're going to pay these college athletes, you don't have to run into issues like this that we're dealing with the FBI probing of them giving, incentives and money to families. Like, if you do that, it eliminate all that. I mean, I believe they should have some type of money to live on while they're there because they can't work because their full-time job is school and then practice or whatever sport.
So then raise the scholarship. Because the problem is
insert it into the scholarship that they're being given. Yeah, right, I believe that's a good idea.
I know that going to college, you're looking at baseball teams or football teams or basketball teams. Right. They have to share so many scholarships because of Title IX, where it's saying equality between women and men's sports. But I just give them more money. I'm getting tired of this. Yeah, there's always an issue. There's always somebody who's cheating. It's like this is our world today. When are we going to change this? When are we going to become more moral? And that can lead us into the question of, should we put God back in the schools?
Which I think, I believe we should.
Okay, so these are some questions that we can have that can go in, Pandora's box. That's a good point you have today.
Yeah, that Pandora's box has opened up a lot of stuff, but it's really, they have like more than 4,000 conversations that they intercepted through wiretaps and financial records, emails, and other records seized from Miller's office, which is the main guy for ASM Sports. He's the basically like the go-to guy for all these transactions. He's an agent. So they even have Dennis Smith Jr., people in the NBA right now that's linked to this. So
it all comes down to what? What's the one common variable?
Winning. Winning at all costs.
So winning in college is all costs, but we put such an emphasis on winning and not growth that college has become more like the NBA in a sense.
It's been a business, but it's even more so because the NBA instituted that you have to be in college at least 1 year. You can't just come out of high school anymore.
Which I disagree with. I think the one and done rule, in my opinion, is one of the worst things that you can do for college because these guys are only set on getting to the NBA because they want the big money. So why not keep them and give them more money, give them incentives. If you finish 4 years, if you finish 3 years, here's a bonus when you finish and graduate. That'll give people maybe some incentive.
Right.
I don't know the true answer here, but we have issues with college basketball. I would say all college sports that are major sports, football and basketball especially.
Yes. Well, with that being said, man, they have to do, I think, instituting, giving the children or the kids some money or extra money in scholarship that you pointed out is very good. I like that point. Moving on to the next current event, Ray Caruth apologizes for death of pregnant girlfriend, seeks custody of his 18-year-old son. He wrote a 15-page letter to the victim's mother, which is taking care of his 18-year-old son. He was apologizing for the murder and saying that he's fully responsible for it. It was televised on Charlotte television station, local television station. He also spoke about, wanting to right his wrongs by being in his son's life, and his son deserves his mother there. But since his son doesn't have his mother, he still has his father. So he's scheduled to get out in October of this year. I hope all that pans out and goes well. His son suffered some injuries or some complications from the shooting, but everything happens for a reason. I believe that. And I believe this is a good move for Ray Caruth. I believe that he's done his time. And that he should get a second chance at being in his son's life. And I hope he adheres to what he's saying and keeps his own word. Jeff?
Do we know his how long he was sentenced for?
18 to 24 years. It was between 18 and 24 years.
So he's right at the end, right at the edge of his parole.
Right. No, they said he should be released on October.
You know, I think these are one of those things, like in America, giving people second chances is one of the best things that we can do, especially if they've had a turn of heart. Now, it doesn't always work out. I think but that second chance, a man who has spent 17 years languishing for what he did, and now he wants to take care of his son now. Obviously, I think her name is Cherika. What's her name?
Yeah.
Or Sandra?
No.
Who's taking care? Sherika?
That's his mother.
She's taking care of the son, right?
No, that's the mother of his son. Sandra
is taken care of.
Right.
Okay, so she's saying no to this, is what I've read.
No, she said in this, what I've read, she said that she's can't wait. She wants to be there when he gets out. She said she's with him coming home. Maybe it's something new coming out, but from what I've read, she says she's all for him being in his son's life.
Right, and I think that's awesome. That's a family thing that I think that needs to be taken care of, and let's see how that goes, obviously. But let's kind of connect what we've done before. Where did Ray Carruth fit on one of our topics in the past?
He was in our
for you.
Top. Well, I had him number on my list. I had him in my top 5 for greatest downfalls or greatest spirals from grace.
Greatest falls from grace. Yeah. Okay, so Ray Carruth.
Ray Carruth was in my top 5.
All right, so can I lead off this next current event?
Yeah, this is your specialty.
All right, so MLB has floated the idea of letting the losing team in the top of the 9th or the bottom of the 9th use any hitters at once in any order, even if they just hit in the 8th inning, to try to spice up the game. So let's say that you have, give me some baseball players you know of. Who are the biggest power hitters?
Man, right now you got Stanton.
Aaron Judge, right there.
Aaron Judge.
Okay,
and
so
they're on the same team.
Let's say they already hit in the 8th inning. All of a sudden, Aaron Boone, the new manager of the Yankees, can now put,
right back in front.
Those are the guys at least hitting 2 and 3, so you get somebody on.
I think that'll spice up the game.
It could.
So that's a good idea.
As a traditionalist,
I
like creativity, but this would change the game altogether. Why not start that at the high school level? Because they do some crazy stuff where you can have like runners every inning. Do it at the high school level and see how it goes.
Test it out with them first.
Or minor leagues, because there are a lot of stuff in the minor leagues. You test it out at a certain level there, like instructional league, where the guys are playing long spring or A-ball, something at the lower level in the minor leagues to see how it goes, and then we get some data and see if it actually does get exciting. Because you know what, if I'm the team that's going to come up, I want it. I want my players hitting. But if I'm the team winning, I'm like, that's BS. This should not happen.
Well, whoever plays New York Yankees is going to have a tough time if that is implemented this year. But I think what they did with the NBA All-Star Game was great.
Okay.
It was playoff intensity basketball. It wasn't, I'm going to let them go to the hole and just score. They were actually playing some good ball, running plays.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Of all the All-Star Games of big sports, which one's the best and which one's the worst?
Obviously, the best one is the NBA. The NBA All-Star Game is the best. It's the best one. I think it's...
Because they play defense, finally.
Well, not just that, because they have the dunk contest. They have the three-point shooting. They have different events that draw people there, and it's an inside venue.
But the dunk contest carries no weight like it did in the 90s.
Well, but everybody still wants to see it.
Right, it's exciting. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing guys jump out of the,
no one wants to see a person hit a baseball.
Home run contest.
They don't really want to see that.
They pack the stadium for the.
Well, they have diehard. They have diehard fans, but no one wants to see a ball go. That's not that exciting.
I like it. I like the home run contest. I have to.
And then you got music.
I'm not saying I don't like the NBA one.
I think
the game itself is not fun to me. This one was more fun.
Yeah, it was more fun
because it's just a shootout.
But I'm bringing up the point that they spiced it up. I think the MLB should do that.
So why not do the All-Star Game? That should be a thing. So take the All-Star Game and make that where you bring up any hitter you want in the ninth. But the problem is, what if you're that guy coming up that wants to hit, and now all of a sudden you're being taken out. Jamal, you're not good enough. We're going with the better hitter. How would you feel?
Well, I'm making $20 million a year right now.
You're making like $300,000.
No, I'm making $20 million a year. I'm making $20 million a year, and I don't care. Or I'm making $300,000. Who makes on the average $300,000 for just a year? No one on the average, unless you own your own business or you got your own $1 billion company. But I mean, if they have the passion and love for the game, I can see how that comes into play. But I believe that, hey, if we're going to win, I need to put my pride aside and say, man, put my boy Aaron Judge back in. Put Stanton back in. Huh?
You'd be crazy.
Put Trout back in.
I don't know.
Huh?
Trout, he makes the last out of the last inning, and then he gets another at bat. I just think that's kind of cheating. I get the spicing part, but I think it's kind of cheating.
It spices it up. It spices it. Okay, just like the NBA All-Star, because it's just recently spiced things up with the All-Star mix-up, LeBron picking his team, Steph picking his team from any conference. Just imagine if all those players that got injured, Porzingis, Boogie Cousins, Boogie Cousins, I'm sorry, y'all. Boogie Cousins. There was a lot of people that got injured that should have been in the All-Star game. LeBron, they would have blew them out with the team that they had, that LeBron picked. That would have been a blowout.
How did the pick go? I mean, they go
basically they go like whoever, I don't know whoever. I think they like tossed a coin or something like that. I'm not familiar with what happened, but I know one person picked one, the other person picked and I looked at Steph's teams and I was like, what the hell is Steph thinking about?
I don't know what he was doing.
But I think he wanted all shooters. It looks like he was going for, we can win the game with 3-pointers and our shooters. But at the end, because they were up, LeBron came back and his team made a valiant effort and they won.
Yeah, but you know what the funny part of that game was? How LeBron celebrated at the end. It was like he won the NBA championship because I think he knows he's not going to be able to beat the Warriors.
But he had KD on his team.
Yeah, but I still think it was beating Steph. Steph's like
yeah, because Steph was
leader
there.
Of that team.
Yeah, he was there before KD came. You're right. But I think my final thoughts on the MLB, I think they should do it.
Okay, and I say no. So there's our vote on that. But you know what the great thing was? And I know there was a tragic event at Stoneman Douglas High School, the shooting that they lost 17 lives. But MLB recognized the shooting victims by wearing their hats, the SD hat that they had, and they had a chance to honor those victims that day. And I love when the big level teams, professional teams do stuff like this. I heard they're going to sign some of the hats and then auction it
to raise money for the families.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
so
that's great, man. That was a big thing for the MLB to do too, man.
So that kind of leads us into our segue of today's episode, which is the gun debate.
Yes.
It doesn't mean gun control. We talk about issues like that. It doesn't mean we allow everyone to have rocket launchers. It's just a discussion that we're going to have with 5 arguments that I found on, let me make sure I have it. This is the Washington Post, has these 5 arguments. And here's the first argument. Number 1, would more guns prevent gun deaths? Jamal.
Would more guns prevent gun death? Let's go over history. No, I don't think it would prevent deaths from guns. I mean, it'd actually increase it.
Okay.
I mean, because you got to understand, people have egos, people have pride. It's an element that we have. Some of it can be good. It's a good pride, and it's also a bad pride. Obviously, the bad pride, people feel like King Kong when they have a weapon.
Yeah.
You'll go to a bar, and it may be a guy that's the smallest guy, but he'll just act like he's just big and bad, and you may not even know he has a gun, but he may be just looking for somebody just to get into it with and just show or flash his gun. And then when it goes wrong, and then he sees that the person is like, man, what you gonna do with it? Shoot me.
Right.
You know, egging them on. I mean, and it's different. That's just one example. But, you know, I can see that you use your gun to defend yourself I think that's the main focus of a gun in America is to defend yourself, because in those third world countries, these people live and die by that stuff. They have to have them, you know? So I think it would cause a higher spike in deaths. I mean...
Well, if you look at the statistic I put on the board,
yes,
it says firearms per 100 people in developed countries, and America has 88.8% of 100, obviously, have guns. Norway's next at 31, and Canada at 30.
Norway? Wow.
Australia, who had that new banning the gun thing, has had so little deaths now since that major event where they lost a bunch of kids. But now they have 15. So obviously, if we have some curbing of the guns,
right,
this number will automatically go down. But people are still going to have the guns. So we're still going. Let's just be honest. Let's say we end the Second Amendment.
Right.
Never going to happen. But let's say we end the Second Amendment. Are we still going to have deaths in the next 10 years?
Yeah. People are going to find a way. We find a way to do what we want to do.
Right.
You
so, I mean, obviously, there's other statistics with this from this site here, but it's saying that we have the most. That's argument number one. And again, you guys can chime in as you want, but there's pro-gun rights positions and there's pro-control as well in the process. Argument number two, do more gun laws prevent gun deaths? Thoughts?
No. Because the people that make the laws break that law. And when I say that, you remember when Vice President Cheney shot that dude on a hunting trip?
I'm sorry, that's a funny story.
It is, but how do you just shoot the dude that's with you by mistake? You know, it's like, come on, man. It's not going to stop, man. It's always going to be some type of loophole for people that have a gun, man. They can make all the laws they want. The government knows that these military-style guns are getting in the inner cities in our American culture. How are they getting AR-15s and all these military-type guns into the neighborhoods if the government don't know about it?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
to say that instituting gun laws would prevent deaths, no. I mean, it won't. It just won't, man. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
What's yours, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, I think this is. I was looking at a bunch of research while we were doing this, and it kind of goes for both sides of the coin. I just think if you say you can't do something as a person, as a human being, we want to do it. Like I tell my kids, you can't do something, and what do they try to do? Get around it.
Right.
If I put a safe in the house, what are they going to try to do as they get older? Unlock the safe. Mm-hmm. I have Xbox and PlayStation 4 at home. I have a code you got to get in to play a game. What do they try to do all the time? Figure the code out. So if I say no, you can't have something, we're going to want that.
Yeah.
I don't know if gun deaths are going to be the way that it's going to be. I don't know if that's. I mean, the gun laws. Mm-hmm. I think that something has to happen though. It's being ramping up each time with all of these events. We're getting more and more. Everyone's trying to outdo each other.
Yes.
We have to look at our society and say what is wrong, and we got to stop accusing whether it's a Democrat or a Republican doing this stuff. Yeah. I'm getting tired of hearing these debates. It's an American problem. The NRA's coming out and saying they're going to take away your Second Amendment rights, and a socialist movement's going to happen, and you need to fight for it. That's not necessarily. We're not getting rid of the rights for you to own a gun. We're getting rid of the rights, if we're going to do it, to own what types of guns.
Right. What types. And if they're needed in each, situation that they're discussing. Also, I believe that mental health patients, if you have an evaluation, because everybody that shoots up a school or some type of place, they always have the mental health excuse. I say excuse.
Right.
And if you're being evaluated for mental health, one of the evaluations, if you have mental health issues, you should not be able to get a gun.
Okay.
But on the other side, if you're a felon, you can't own the gun. You can't be around anybody.
Vote.
Yeah, you can't vote. So it's a lot of people going to prison, penitentiary for drugs.
Yeah.
What that has nothing to do with a gun. Some people are going for assault with no weapon, no gun or anything, and they can't have a gun. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not fair, to them to have the right. What if someone comes in their house, right?
Yeah.
And they have a gun, and they shoot that person because this person, they have every right to, but since they're on parole's going to step in and say, well, you weren't supposed to have a gun.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But even on that side of it as well, there are statistics on both sides, and I'm not fighting for one or the other.
Right.
But if somebody comes into your house, your gun's in a safe. You're going to get up in the midst time and open up that safe, get it ready, and to shoot it. Odds are not going to happen. You're going to panic in a different way.
Right.
So there's sometimes that people are not trained to kill others. So then the robber, or the criminal coming in, is going to take your gun and shoot you with it. So there's been both sides of it where you fight back. I had a friend in high school when we were in college. He worked at a liquor store, and he ended up shooting and killing somebody who was coming in to rob the store, and he was exonerated as a result of it. So he was protecting his own self with that. So there's good and bad. There's stories on either side of it.
Yeah,
I just don't know if more gun laws are going to stop gun deaths. Argument 3: should schools arm teachers and guards?
Well, you want to start off with this?
I'll do it. I'm a teacher. I teach high school. I teach AP government, and I don't want to have a gun. I'm there to educate the minds of the youth, which are young adults. I'm there to enjoy a good relationship with them, and I know that schools have become the target. And yes, it's a fearful one. They've given me these magnet locks for my door, so I can just pull the magnet and the door's automatically locked. There's all these things that we're trying to do to keep the safety of them, but we shouldn't even be having that discussion. To arm teachers, I'm a sarcastic individual. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do to a kid who's not listening? Am I going to unclip the thing and go, sit down, sit down? Because I don't want to have that. What if it's a teacher that's a female that could be overpowered by a 6'4" athlete?
And they know they have a gun now.
Right. And I mean, I see that, but I don't think that's the answer to it. I think we need to look at America and the problems. And I agree, mental health is one, but you could talk about violence in movies. People, the NRA and the gun rights people.
They don't touch that.
But they're saying blame Hollywood. They're saying blame video games. We're always in the blame game instead of doing something about it. Maybe the problem is that we need to completely stop the assault rifles from being owned. Do you guys remember back? I forgot what year it was, like 04, 05, when the guy tried to light his shoe bomb. Yeah, a bomb on a plane from Nicaragua. He was not Nicaragua. I think it was Nigeria. He was lighting his shoe, and people tackled him, and he was trying to blow up the plane. What do we do now as a result of that? Immediately, what had happened in every airport? What do you do before you get on?
Oh, they check you for anything.
You take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off.
And your shoes go through the scanner to see if you have a shoe bomb. We do these basic things to save people, but yet with guns, you can't touch it.
Right.
And in schools, man, you're not even paying me enough money. I worked so hard to make the kids of the future.
Right.
You pay me nothing in comparison to what I should be paid, and now you're telling me that I need to carry a gun and be trained for that? I don't want that. Give me the extra money. And I tweeted Trump saying we should arm teachers. I said, you know what? Pay me combat pay then. Right. Give me $1,000 extra a month, and I might contemplate it. Jamal, I know I've been talking too much.
No, that's good. You're a teacher, so this is right through your veins.
It's not an assault rifle.
It is. A 5.56 is a grade of a
it's
military.
It's not an automatic weapon. Assault rifle needs to be an automatic weapon. It's semi-automatic, one bullet at a time. So you can do the same damage with a .22 rifle, or I can do the same damage with my double-action pistol at home that rifle can do inside somebody. Just keep pulling the trigger, one at a time. So it has to be automatic.
Well, the assault rifle itself, it's already been known as an assault rifle. People who want it are calling it not an assault rifle because a 5.56, when it hits the body, it tumbles inside and blows out the backside, whereas a .22 will go straight through the body because it's a smaller caliber weapon.
Yeah, but it's got to be automatic.
Okay, automatic is another step. That's illegal.
Well, that's a technique.
But now we've added the bump stocks, which makes an automatic rifle,
that's
which
different.
Trump has said is great to have. But the AR-15 is unnecessary for hunting. Because if I'm going to go boom, 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 that is not sport. Sport is boom, click, bolt action, boom, bolt action. That's sport to me.
Sport.
Shotgun, boom. You know, even to pump it is giving you that moment of it's going to be a skill, not a boom, 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 because that's what an automatic does. You can kill 15 kids in 3 minutes.
The automatic, you just pull the trigger.
Right.
Semi, you got to keep pulling.
Right, but the AR-15 has already been designated as an assault rifle.
Assault style.
Right.
Not an actual assault.
We don't, again, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
we don't need AR-15s in our country.
But that's what causes the sensationalism, is the naming it an assault rifle.
Yeah,
exactly.
And people don't understand.
Well, ever since the assault ban rifle ended in 1994, AR-15s are on the rise. So they are considered an assault rifle.
I don't consider it one.
I know you might not, because you're probably a hunter or probably
No,
a gun.
I'm not. I've never hunted a damn.
Okay, so I'm just telling you what they officially have on it. So 1994, the ban ended and AR-15s rose.
Yeah.
So they were considered assault rifle by the gun industry.
It's a nice looking gun.
I fired them. I have no problem with it. I fired a Mosin Nagant. I fired AR-15. I fired a bunch of these weapons. I go to a range and do it. I fired AK-47, an anti-American weapon in a sense. And it's cool. I've had fun doing those things. But I don't envision going into a school and killing people. So I think those weapons should be banned from our country. That's an opinion, obviously.
Sure.
I think I have no problem with shotguns and rifles and handguns. I get those. But I don't think we need to ramp up, because, and let's talk about this question in reality. If the government comes to take away rifles, your AR-15, your bump stock, is it really going to win? When the military is going to come in with tanks?
No.
So in reality, the Second Amendment, it really doesn't apply to us today. It's something to fight the British back in 1770s.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a thought. And again, these are all opinion-based stuff. And David, we do appreciate you totally. That's an awesome question that we need to have.
But I believe, as far as teachers, they don't pay teachers enough to do anything already. It's basically an older daycare. They're taking care of people's children while other people are trying to make a living for their families. So they already don't pay them. Now you're asking them or putting in their head that we might be getting guns to protect ourselves and our students.
Well, there's already a school district in Texas that does that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And and it's not like here's a gun, teachers. You have to first be trained.
Right, you're going to be trained.
And you decide if you want to do it. You're not required. It's up to you.
See, that option is better.
Yeah,
but you also have to pay those teachers more, man. If you're going to do that, you got to pay those teachers more to go to those classes, to have to even envision when that will happen, because most people will freeze up. Most people it will bring extra stress to the job, I believe, because they're like, okay, I got a gun. What if somebody walks in here? You don't know what's going through their mind. You know what I'm saying? And then I think they should leave it up to those that they hire as security guard. A lot of schools have police on campus. So just enforce more police to be on campus, because a lot of certain cities, like not high crime cities, should bring more police force there, or hire people specifically just for school.
Yeah, but it's increasing the budget again. That's the hard part, is that schools are already pushing pennies constantly. So this is just I don't think this is the answer. I mean, look at banks. We used to have armed guard in banks. That didn't stop anybody from robbing banks. And now we've taken them completely out and made it totally open. And a tougher way of doing it, almost like conceding, saying, if you want to rob it, we'll give you the money. It's going to be marked, and we have 1 million cameras to capture you later. Well, so it's saving the lives a little more in terms of it.
What needs to be done is the agencies that oversee this, mental illness, like the FBI, the Air Force, the last 2 out of 3 shootings like this could have been prevented if the agencies would have done their job. The FBI on this one dropped the ball, didn't acknowledge, the person calling in saying this guy's a menace. Air Force didn't report that other person from the church shooting in Texas to the FBI. So you can have all the laws you want. If the agencies that are, supposed to take care of them don't.
Yeah, we got to figure it out as a country. That's the number one thing, is because a place where it should be a place to learn and grow is a place of fear now.
It is. And
we got to change. Our country has issues with that. Argument 4, is prohibiting gun ownership compatible with the Second Amendment?
Hell no. Hell no. It has nothing to do with it, man. Like you said, it was instituted at that time for the British.
Well, not only that, it was also instituted that if the government itself became tyrannical, people could rise up against it.
I'm all for that.
Because there was a lot of rising up back in that time. We can't rise up now. You can't even get close to the steps without somebody, some national security or FBI agent coming to greet you. So, no, man, I mean, listen, man. The government always covers themselves in some shape, form, or fashion. And they make money off these guns coming here in some shape, form, or fashion. Guns on the streets, they're being put out there by arms dealers somehow.
So let me give you a pro-gun right argument. This is from the Post again. In 2008, the Supreme Court decided 5-4 that a Second Amendment stated the right of people to keep and bear arms means you can own a gun for self-defense. Mm-hmm. And it struck down Washington, D.C.'s 32-year ban on handguns in the city. So the Supreme Court, who looks at the Constitution, obviously the Second Amendment's there, argued for the gun rights, saying that you have the right to defend yourself. So again, we can go into way more on that. The pro-gun control side said, obviously it's been brought up many times in courts, but again, that 4 liberal justices in that case in 2008 stated a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, it only protects state rights to maintain militias. So if you added 5 simple words from John Paul Stevens, an old justice, he said the right to bear arms as long as you were in that militia. Most people aren't in militias.
Well, at the time that was written, the militia was everybody.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So today, if you added that, it would change the Second Amendment to those that were involved in a militia that would control or be there if you needed to fight back against the government. And I'm not saying we need to look at the Second Amendment. I think we have a huge issue in this country with obsession to kill other people with weapons that should not be in people's hands who don't have the mental state, because all these people, all these big shooters have had some mental issues.
Sure.
So we got to look at these things and say, enough's enough. Let's do something about it. Instead of now say, no, I want to protect my guns. I'll be honest. I'm going to state this right now on TV. For America to be safer, I'm willing to get rid of my Second Amendment. I don't really care. It doesn't really involve me. I don't own a weapon. I fired many of them. But I'm okay with getting rid of my Second Amendment to make America a safer place. But obviously, we get rid of the Second Amendment. Do people still have guns?
Yes.
And there you go. So again,
if you get rid of it, then you leave yourself open, your family open. If a home invasion happens to happen, or a robbery at a gas station, a robbery at a corner store, a robbery at a hotel, or anything like that, man. So it really does not eliminate it. It just band-aids the problem.
Yeah.
When you build one, there was that guy that with a 3D printer printed a working gun. So
yeah, it's just we've so far gone with these gun laws that we created a bigger issue than we've ever had, man. And I think that protecting our kids is important, and if the government wants to do that, they need to implement something and not involve the teachers per se. They need to enforce more protection from officers or security people, security guards, to have and be trained properly, to handle those type of things. And they said they need to pay attention to the signs of students that used to go to schools, or because they always give themselves up.
Yeah.
The guy used to go to the school in Florida, and he made like several appearances unknown up at the school, so they already knew something was wrong with this guy.
We saw that. Now I think that goes into the current event. At Stoneman Douglas, one SRO, school resource officer that had a weapon, was outside with the kids, and they said he was joined by 2 other ones, and they never went in to confront the shooter. Mm-hmm. Because in the first 3 to 5 minutes, most of the damage is happening. If you go in there and fire at him, he's going to flee, like at the church shooting. I think it was, I forgot what state it was in.
Texas.
Was it in Texas where the guy shot at him and he killed a bunch of people, but he shot him and probably avoided more damage or more deaths. So yes, I see the proponent on the other side of it, especially with SROs. I've talked to my SROs this week and we've had great conversations. I think everyone's hopefully saying we need to do something to stop this.
We do, man.
Instead of blaming each other, our politicians need to come to the table and take care of the American people. The problem is not necessarily getting rid of the Second Amendment. It's just figuring out how to curb the violence going forward.
Starts at home. Teach
Yeah.
kids to respect
Everything
other
starts.
people.
Michael Jackson said it best. It starts with the man in the mirror.
That's right.
If each person evaluates, and like Mr. Dave said, it starts at home. Instilling these values in your kids, like a lot of things start at home, like holding guns. It's parents that teach, hey, I'm gonna teach you how to shoot this gun, and then they grow up with this mentality to do that at any means necessary. You know, so I mean, eliminating the Second Amendment is not going to help. Modifying it may somewhat help, but it's not fully going to eliminate guns in this country, man.
I know that Australia had a buyback program. I don't know what you would attach to each weapon. If you could turn in a handgun, you get $500 back. If you turn in a rifle, it's $1,000. If you turn in an AR-15, it's $2,000. Something along those lines. Do you think people would turn them back in if the government would give a rebate program
It's
like
been
that?
down here in the States.
And how did that work out?
In Australia, I mean, since that major shooting in 2007, I think it was, since they've done it, they've had the death from guns have gone drastically down.
But we're talking about the most powerful country in the world.
And the only country that has it in the Constitution.
We have a
the
lot
right
of
to bear arms.
we have a lot of money coming through here. We have a lot of arrogancy and pride that is not good. So you think us doing it here is going to change anything? You can forget that.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, this is not an easy issue to answer. We just wanted to have a conversation about it. Any other last words you want to throw on the gun debate?
Man, I just wish, I want to say first and foremost, send my prayers out to those families, man, because at the end of the day, somebody lost somebody when it comes to this gun issue. And I think the government really doesn't fully understand that until it happens to them or one of theirs. So, and even in that, they're going to have colleagues that say, no, we still need it because everything comes down to money. Everything. And our country will kill people for money. Period.
Yeah.
I'm saying it. So, you know, I just want to send out my condolences to the families of these gun victims that were just gunned down in Florida, and all the Trayvon Martins, all the kids that lost their lives in this gun issue, man. I really want to I don't know, Jeff, if we're going to ever, get to the point of controlling this, man.
Yeah.
But, we just have to come together as a country and stop, like you said, looking at Republican, Democrat, black, white, because if you really want to talk about it, when it comes to any gun issue, black people are more scrutinized and more ridiculed for it. Like every time a white or another race does it, always comes down to mental health. But when it comes to a black guy or a young black kid, it's like, oh, they did it, sentence them to that. So I think that's very unfair as well. So, I mean, we just have to come together as a country and pray, man, because that's the only thing that's going to help this issue, bro.
I hope our politicians can figure this out, because I know the people of America can protest and fight. They have to be the ones to come to the table and actually help us out and figure this out. So obviously that's all the time we have for today, but I wanted to ask you, what were you smoking today?
I was smoking an Undercrown Sun-Grown. I love it. It's a smooth smoke all the way through. And I really enjoy this. My friend Wood put me up on this. Shout outs to Jeremy Woods.
Jeremy?
Hey, baby, I see you. Thank you for introducing me to this. But Undercrown has some other good ones, but it's real strong,
okay.
And I like it. It's very consistent all the way through.
I got an LFD, Ligero, and this is the Granu. I think that's how you say it. Again, my favorite word is creamy.
Creamy.
It's creamy.
Macaroni.
Especially this time of the day, so I'm enjoying it. Our next topic will probably be boxing.
Yes.
We're going to do a little head-to-head between Marcus and Jamal. Will you shout out for our sponsors?
Yes, I want to thank our guys here at the Abandoned House Cigars, located off Research Boulevard and 183. You can get off at the Lake Creek exit, and it's located next to the Pep Boys. I want to thank Mr. Dave for always being here, helping us out when we film. He was the one speaking with us about this gun debate.
We gotta get him on camera too.
Yeah, we got to get Mr. D on camera. He doesn't want to. We want to thank Jim and all the guys at Habana House for allowing us to shoot here and giving us a platform to bring these type of discussions into your home. So thank you, guys.
And please make sure you hit the like button at the bottom. Hopefully share it with your friends. Guys, thanks for joining us. We're Sticks and Picks.
Sticks and Picks.